All right. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofict one, AJ. Happy Friday, January 16th, 2026. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend ready for what's going to end up being a great weekend. We got a lot to talk about today, huh? The Dodgers. Dodgers are doing some stuff in the offseason. We'll get to that and how they're not really ruining baseball. There's a lot of other issues there. Not only that, but head coaching carousel is still running wild in the NFL. And, maybe there's, like another sports gambling scandal or something like that, and some more arrests have been made. We'll get to all of that and more. Before I go any further, do just want to take a moment, shout out to everyone watching here on Rumble, over on YouTube, X, TikTok. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit those follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But with all of that, let's go ahead and just, whoa. That got loud quick. Let's go ahead and just jump right into what everyone's talking about as the Dodgers go ahead and sign Kyle Tucker away from the Cubs. Kyle Tucker making $60 million a year, 240 over the next 4. This doesn't appear to be any deferrals or anything like that. He will be making that over the next 4. And, of course, the only baseball player with a higher AAV in the MLB is Shohei Ohtani. Congratulations to Kyle Tucker, first of all, getting an absolute bag from the Dodgers, which if you're a great player in the MLB, you are going to get an absolute bag from the Dodgers. So let's go ahead and just get that out of here. But it brings us all to a conversation we've had since the Shohei Ohtani signing in regards to the Dodgers in the offseason. That being, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. The Dodgers are ruining baseball. The MLB needs a salary cap. We need a salary cap now. There's going to be a lockout in 2027, yada, yada, yada. All of this panic, all of this worry, all of this shenanigans. Let's go with that. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a lot to break down. So I want to go ahead and start with the main pressure point right now in the MLB, and that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. No ifs, ands, or buts. Every offseason since the Ohtani deal, it has been, well, who are the Dodgers going to pay a ridiculous amount of money to next to come to LA and win another World Series? Well, this time it's Kyle Tucker. And, you look at their roster. It is a roster of nothing but all-stars. I mean, seriously, I saw a meme today where it's like, hey, let's just go ahead and do AL, NL all-stars versus the Dodgers. And yeah, makes sense because half the NL roster realistically could be the Dodgers. You know what I mean? Just the Dodgers starters. I mean, right there, your starters more than likely, or at least a good portion of your team. And then, you have opt-outs and everything like that, yada, yada. I'm not getting into that mess. But the point being still that they have the resources and it brings in the money. They've worked out their rev share deal on, with the TV markets very well. They are nationally broadcasted all the time. Everyone who is a fair weather fan loves the Dodgers, knows Shohei Ohtani, knows Freddie Freeman, knows Mookie Betts. The Dodgers are an absolute money printing machine, and especially when you're in a huge market like LA. And, it's so funny that we focus on the Dodgers, you know what I mean? And I get it. It has to do with the salary cap. We'll get to the salary issue in a minute. But, this is the Dodgers when it comes to the 4 major sports, you know what I mean? You look at they're the only ones that can do this. In the NFL, all the New York teams suck. All of them suck. And we'll get to New York in a minute, but all the New York teams suck because they can't go out and just spend all of the money they want to. And the Dodgers can. The Dodgers like getting those new trophies. The Dodgers like going out there and winning World Series rings. And I don't blame them. 2001 was a hell of a year for me. And I know it's probably funny seeing me sit here with a Diamondbacks hoodie on, talking about how the Dodgers aren't ruining baseball. But they're not ruining baseball. They're doing everything within the rules. It's not their fault. It's not Dodgers fans' fault. It's not the players' faults that they actually want to spend money on their team. Let that sit in for a minute. This is the only ownership group in the MLB who not only wants to spend all their money, but knows how to spend all their money and knows how to get people in. The Yankees, the Mets, they've been losing these bidding wars. They have been not being able to get the guys that they want and having to settle. That's no one else's fault except owners. That is no one else's fault except the owners. And that takes me to my next point, the salary issue. I am sick and tired of hearing anyone who's watched one inning of baseball say, oh, well, the MLB needs a salary cap. Obviously, we need to cap how much these guys are making. Why are these contracts so big? Why, yada, yada, yada. Kiss my ass, okay? First of all, they ain't doing it. They ain't doing it, okay? That salary cap ain't coming. Also, Bro Trudy, I am hyped on the Arenado. I'm hyped on it. I think he'll be a good ticket seller. Has had a couple of good last seasons, but I'm a big fan. Hope you're doing well, bro. Anyway, sorry, I got D-backs questions. I never get D-backs questions. But the salary issue, yes, there is a salary issue in the MLB. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But the salary issue in the MLB is these, and I hate to use this term because they have more money than I'll probably ever see in my lifetime, but these poor owners, and I mean poor, like they cannot afford to pay up with the Dodgers. Is it that they can't afford to, or is it that they just don't want that? You know what I mean? They've got other interests. They've got their lake houses. They've got their yachts. They've got yada, yada, yada. Maybe their baseball team is not on top of the level, and they see the Dodgers go out there and spend all that money, and they're like, ooh, not the best quarter last year. Maybe we can revisit this. We can go ahead and circle back to this one next semester, next whatever. It's the owner's fault. It's the owner's fault. I do agree there needs to be something happening with the salary, and there needs to be something. But again, the MLB, the players are never in a million years going to go for a salary cap. Never in the world going to go for a salary cap. So what's the answer? The salary floor. I have been screaming from the mountaintop on this one. The salary cap is not it. Needs to be a salary floor. And we do that so that we can price out these owners. Again, Paul Skeens, a once-in-a-generation talent. This is, you know what I mean? This is a guy that comes in the building. You pay him however much money you want, and he stays there. He's a franchise guy. Even when it's a bad year, you still got Skeens coming out there every fifth day to, just burn some people. You don't just let the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Mets come out here and that was the worst part of the whole Paul Skeens thing. That was the worst part because everybody in baseball knows that there is no chance in hell the Pirates are going to pay Paul Skeens what he's worth, what he deserves. And he's going to go to a Dodgers, a Yankees, a Mets, whoever else wants to get a part of that bidding war. And that shouldn't be the conversation when a guy gets drafted. Damn, he's going to look good in pinstripes. That looks like a Yankee right there. Those aren't the conversations you should be having about a guy out of the draft, especially in baseball where, guys will stay with a team for another contract, for an extra contract, an extension and stuff, even if the team's dog shit. You know what I mean? They like being the stars. They like doing that. You just got to keep paying them. And we all know that the Pirates ain't going to pay Skeens. The Tigers don't want to pay Skubal. What's going on with Skubal? Who knows right now? But the Tigers don't want to pay Skubal. And is there maybe a little irregularities, in the market because of what the Dodgers pay these guys? Yes, but again, I go to my earlier statement where the Dodgers are just an all-star team. They're a regular season all-star team that does transfer over to the playoffs, obviously, but again, they are, I hate to also say they are the best of the best. And there's other great players that are scattered across the MLB. But as Jeff Passons reported earlier today, players are even like, how do we beat the Dodgers? How do we beat the Dodgers? Golden Glove here, Silver Slugger there, Cy Young here, yada, yada, just littered with all of the accolades and littered with all the all-stars. And I agree. How do you do it? How do you do it? Road Dog, I'm working on the sign, bro. I'm working on it. Okay, it broke. Okay, I got to get the electrical part. And there's some big news that came out that I can't disclose yet, but it's taking my attention away. So don't worry, we'll be able to break that down soon. But bro, Trudy, you're right. There's no one that can beat the Dodgers. Now, again, any given day, rain, that's why you play the games. But are the Dodgers more than likely going to be back-to-back World Series? Yeah, of course. Is the All-Star probably going to be Shohei Ohtani again? Yeah, absolutely. Is the Cy Young probably going to come out of the Dodgers? Yeah, absolutely. But again, that's not their fault. It's the fault of these owners who don't want to invest the capital that is necessary to have a successful franchise. How is that the players' fault? They just grow up playing the game they love, knowing one day they're going to be told that they can't. And they're going to. They're going to keep playing. They're going to keep making all this money. And yeah, they're going to want to win. Because winning's fun. Winning's a lot of fun. And I think that's another thing that we all forget about this. You know what I mean? Oh, but there's no parity in the MLB. Oh, yeah, because the Dodgers want to win. Okay, and they're going to do everything within their power and within the rules to win. Okay, we've seen what other teams that can't afford to do what the Dodgers do. They go to any extent to win. And we castrate the Astros, but they legitimately cheated. And they should have gotten the death penalty from the MLB. That should have been stripped. But anyway. Oh, Kalins, what's good, brother? Hope you're doing good. Oh, work, brother. Get grinding, bro. Get grinding. But yeah, dude, we'll be live tomorrow too. Don't you worry about it. Where was I? Anyway, we need a salary floor. That was my long-winded answer of we need a salary floor. A salary cap ain't gonna cut it. A salary cap's gonna lead to a lockout. Oh, but the owners aren't going to listen. You put the fucking salary floor at, you look at what everyone, you want to do this right now? Let's do this right now. Salary of every MLB team. Let's go ahead and just do this right now. We can fix this right now. Salaries for every MLB team. Right. What is it? 2025. We'll do 2025 season. All right. Thank you, Spotrack. I really should just have Spotrack bookmarked at this point. I don't know why I don't. But, and then my Wi-Fi is going to go ahead and take a minute. But my point being, you look at the list. You look at the list. Yeah, dude. Oh, we'll get into some D-backs, bro. Trudy. Just give me like 2 more minutes on this Dodgers stuff because it's really been grinding my gears hearing all of these, ESPN talking heads who don't even give a shit about baseball. They watch it because sometimes they're paid to. They need a salary cap. They need the salary cap. They need it now. Yada, yada, whatever. Kiss my ass. But, okay. 30 teams in the MLB. Number 15, the Detroit Tigers spent $200 million, right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, tax payroll. So they spent, all right, $200 million. That's your floor. Damian, thank you for the follow, brother. That's your floor right there. $200 million. I think honestly, you bump it up to $250. Yeah, $250, $230. And again, ridiculous what the Cubs are doing here. Ridiculous what the Cubs are doing here. No tax bases whatsoever. I mean, it's crazy. And where's the other post? Hold on. But my point being, it's not that hard. Let's just go ahead, pick a point, and stick to it. Stick in the middle there, and fuck it. Everything will fix itself. Where are my bookmarks? There they are. But what was it? Okay, yeah. Entire AL Central payroll is $573 million this next season. And the Dodgers payroll plus luxury tax is $552.3. That's not a Dodgers issue. That's an owner issue. And, yeah. Why are we boo-hooing these billionaires? They have the opportunity, and I think that's what everyone forgets. It's an opportunity to what's the NLS? I don't want to know, dude. I know the Diamondbacks have really picked up the spending since that miracle Super World Series run, but it's bad. It's bad. And I mean, yeah, the Dodgers are going to outpay everybody and get a salary floor so everyone stops bitching and moaning. You know what I mean? Because listen, at some point, the Dodgers can't sign everybody. You know what I mean? The roster is only so big. The Dodgers cannot sign everybody. But I do think that people are going to try to, they think they can. Rosters are only so big. Farm systems are only so big. You know what I mean? Get a rich owner and have him pay. And what's crazy to me in all of this, and this is as a Diamondbacks fan, okay? I remember 2001, okay? I also remember in 2018, in 2020, 2019, when I was paying $7 for a ticket in the bleachers, okay? And my beer cost more than my ticket did. Okay, like that's where the Diamondbacks were at just a couple of years ago. We go on a World Series run, and what happens? Season tickets goes up, sales go up, ticket sales in general go up, concessions goes up, merchandise goes up. What does that mean? Oh, you make a lot more money. People want to come see a good product. People don't want to go see the White Sox. People don't want to go see the Rockies. People don't want to go see and insert another bullshit team here, the Twins. They don't. They don't want to see a losing team and an owner that clearly doesn't care. And it goes on to the stadiums are ass and yada, yada, yada. But again, if these brilliant billionaire owners, some reason don't understand that if you put a good product out, people are going to want to give you money to go see that product. And they're willing to pay. And baseball is still one of the more affordable sports that you can get in on a day-to-day basis during the regular season and see. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And I'm not going to discredit that whatsoever. But again, you got to fill the stadium. You got to sell T-shirts. You got to sell tickets. So again, salary floor. Don't be mad that the Dodgers are just paying everybody. Don't be mad at that. That's a bad thing to be mad about. Be mad that your owner, your shitty owner, doesn't care enough about your team to go out and pay for these guys. And no, they don't need to go and do what the Dodgers do and have a Shote, have a Sasaki, have a Freddie, have a Mookie. You need 2, 3 guys, 4 guys that can just really turn a team around and a solid bullpen, solid rotation. They don't all need to be Cy Young winners. Is that working out very well for the Dodgers? Absolutely. But my point still stands. Like, your owner just has to be better. Shit, I'm pissed off at the Cardinals owner right now. I think he's being a dipshit. We're going to interview Robert Saleh. Fuck me. Anyway, something for Angels games. High noon or White Claw today, dude. Just straight vodka soda. Just trying to stay healthy. Watch the calories, New Year's resolution and everything. You greatest cereals. What's up, Cinema Toast Crunch? How you doing, bro? But bro wants to talk D-backs real quick. I am going to take a minute because I don't get to talk about my D-backs a lot. And we're doing something that I haven't seen us do in a while. And that is, like, we are, and that's just kind of where the NL is at too, especially the NL West. You know what I mean? You've got to, we're playing for a wild card. And we know that going into this season. We are playing for a wild card, but we are going to set us up the best way to make it to a wild card. And I think Arenado is a great defensive move. I really do. And we didn't give away too much for him, which I'm big on too. I like that we're keeping Lawler. Do I think San Francisco covers 7.5? No, I don't. I do not. I think San Francisco is going to get their face stomped in. Bless. I do. Anyway, the Arenado trade was great. Great for the D-backs. Great for the fan base as well. In the years past, we've kind of been quiet, and in the last couple, picking up Corbin Burns. I mean, he needs Tommy John. That part sucks. But, it was a great move. It was an aggressive move for the Diamondbacks, knowing that we have to compete for, with the Dodgers. And if we do make it to the playoffs, we're probably going to have to see the Dodgers at some point. And so just doing the best we can. We've got the bats. We've got the bats. We got the defense now. We just need our bullpen to get healthy at the back half of the at the back half of the All-Star break. And it feels like that's where it's going to go. It feels like, from what I'm reading on injuries and everything, that the bullpen is the rotation is going to slowly get healthy throughout the season. We might see a couple of guys back early in the first half, but looking more towards after the All-Star break. So I'm up on the D-backs. I'm up on what's going on. I believe they are going to be staying in. I think I read something they're staying in Chase Field. They're just going to go ahead and upgrade it, which is great. I think it's a great stadium, great location. The Diamondbacks are on an upswing right now, and I'm a big fan of it. Would you like them to? Bless, I will get to you in a moment. All right, first of all, bro Trudy, let's get one thing straight. One of my favorite things as a D-backs fan is to see AJ Puck go out there and yell "Puck yeah." Okay, that is arguably one of my favorite things as a D-backs fan right now. So let's go ahead and be careful where we're throwing mid-tier around. Okay. I think the bullpen is so hard. I would rather see a guy from AAA or something come up. I'm not well read into Reno right now, but we always talk about how we have a great farm system. Let's fucking use it instead of just trading it away all the time. You know what I mean? Let's get a homegrown guy up in the bullpen and see what we can do here. Okay, I was just thank you for the clarification there, bro. But no, I think I would like AJ Puck to obviously stay. I would like our bullpen to just be from within. I don't want to be taking risk on these guys that already have 5.4, coming into the season with a 5.4 ERA. You know what I mean? I know the ERA is reset, but you know what I mean by that. Do I want us to make more moves? Absolutely. I would not be upset if we get another starter. And I want another Corbin Burns level starter. I love Gallen. Okay, I want to get that out there. I love Zach Gallen. I think what he has done in Arizona is great, and he can still, especially for some reason, he sucks ass the first half of the season and likes to turn it on in the second half. I don't know why. I don't get it, but hey, that's Zach Gallen baseball for you, baby. But he is also, we saw it last year. We've been seeing it for the last couple of years. He's starting to lose velo. He's starting to lose some control, and it takes him longer to get up. So I'm starting to. I want another. I want another there. I want another guy. Road Dog, right? The location is beautiful. It's a great stadium too. Update's gonna be lit. Scoreboard's lit. We have a pool. First ones to do it. We're awesome. I asked this season. There's a ticket guy that always harassed me before. Do you want to buy season tickets? Do you want to buy another package? Yada yada. And I'm like, nah, not this year. Got some stuff going on. Not gonna be able to make it to a lot of games. But what's the pool situation looking like? Because my birthday's in September, so towards the end of the season, sometimes I think I can get in there. And they quoted me and they said, yeah, we're all booked up for the season, but how about a regular suite? And I'm like, does it have a hot tub in it at least? And they said no. So. Road Dog, the only change I want with the D-backs colors and everything is to go back to our OG. Give me the teal. Give me the purple. I love those. I loved those black jerseys we used to have. Those black teal jerseys. Oh, my God. Shit was great. Yeah, Angels adding a pool is a bunch of pussy shit. Yeah, they got to copy. They got to get fans in the stadium somehow. You know what I mean? Being close to Disneyland ain't going to cut it anymore. Just ain't going to cut it. But what you going to do, brother? What you going to do? But blessed to get to you real quick. I'm on Denver, bro. I'm on Denver this week. I think Denver's going to win it at home. I think Denver will lose next week, though. And Josh Allen, brother's playing on like a leg. Maybe a leg. But it's called hitting a couple parlays, Road Dog. Or hoping I'm going to hit a couple parlays. Don't you worry, brother. Gamble responsibly, everyone. Anyway, might be going to Vegas next weekend for the UFC fights. I'm stoked on that. I am stoked on that. So, and my wife wants to go. She's like, I want to go to the fight. Gaethje grew up in her hometown, though, so that makes sense. Her dad was his teacher at one point, so pretty sweet. But yeah, we'll be live from there if I go, but that would be lit. Anyway, what else do I want to talk about today? The Dodgers and baseball always gets me off on those tangents. It's crazy. We can start with the head coaching carousel because this is wild. Third oldest in the league. Is it really? Art doesn't know what he's doing. When have the Angels ever known what the best thing the Angels have ever done was Angels in the outfield and letting their rights be used for that. Besides that, I can't really remember the last time the Angels did something lit except, waste Mike Trout's career. R.I.P. Mike Trout. I know he's alive and still playing, but you know what I mean. This shit was crazy. So Mike McDaniel fired earlier this week by the Dolphins after the Harbaugh news comes out and everything. Harbaugh now with the Giants. We'll get to that in a moment. But I don't know why this isn't working for that. But Darren Waller and Mike McDaniels were talking. Darren Waller was having his exit interview for the season, and Mike McDaniel was saying, hey, bro, like, good shit. We want to have you come back next year, yada, yada. And then Stephen Ross, the owner, walks in. And they chat a little bit, and Darren Waller feels that, maybe I need to leave the room. Maybe I need to get out of here. And then he checks his phone a couple minutes later, and, Mike McDaniels is fired. So, whew. He then goes on to say he was in the room where it happened. So Dolphins, obviously, I think we're going for we're trying to be in the Harbaugh sweepstakes. Giants, get him in the building and don't let him leave, which if you got the guy you want, throw all the money at it, just say yes. We'll figure all the contract stuff out later, which is what they're currently going through right now. So it'll be official soon. But let's talk about the Giants and Harbaugh. Let's talk about that. Where is that post I saw? Hold on. There we go. 5-year deal, going to be about $100 million, what reports are saying for Harbaugh and the Giants. How do I feel about this move? Love this move. This may be this we might be in a scary era here. We might be. They have made a couple of good decisions the last couple of years. AJ, what good decisions have they made? Well, Mr. Cam Scadaboo, Miss Captain CTE himself. That's number one. Jackson Dart. That's number two. Not letting Malik Neighbors out of the building. Number three. Firing Dable. Questionable. I will say that was a little questionable. Definitely had my head scratching on that one. Like, really? You're going to fire Dable? He's doing a good job. He's actually happy in his job. Why are you going to take that away from him? But they fired Dable. And then they come out and get John Harbaugh. They have him come out and get John Harbaugh. It'll take him time to get to the Super Bowl. I agree with you, bro. This is not a plug and place like now the Giants are winning a Super Bowl, and I'm not going that far. But if you look at the NFL right now and you look at the teams that were without a head coach, and I know multiple teams with head coaches were calling Harbaugh and just saying, hey, would you be interested? And he's like, nah. But, you look at the Arizona Cardinals, kind of a mess. You don't have a quarterback, needs a lot of rebuilding. Yes, there's some nice pieces on the offense, and Michael Wilson, maybe Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride, James Conner when he's healthy, but not the best spot. The Falcons, what's going on there? No one really knows. The Dolphins, what's going on there? No one really knows. It's a lot of some pieces are there, but it's going to take a lot more. I think the Giants, the way they are right now, are in a better place to win and win sooner than the other squads that were probably in the Harbaugh sweepstakes. And now I know I'm taking a lot off of Jackson Dart in one season and Cam Scadaboo off of not a lot of games and Malik Neighbors off of not a lot of games and everything, but that defense started humming. Jackson Dart, they seem to rally around Dart. They seem to really love Dart and his leadership and everything, and the team's bought in there. Now you get Harbaugh in there, and he's going to send that message home. I also think Harbaugh picked the Giants because he sees a little bit what I see, and that is Jackson Dart being a better Lamar Jackson. Whoa, hold the phone. Did he just say that? Yeah, I said that. I think Jackson Dart is going to end up being a better Lamar Jackson. Do I think he is an exact replica of Lamar? No, I don't think he has Lamar's speed. And what he's able to do in the pocket specifically, the way Lamar's able to do it, is what separates him from all other quarterbacks. But I think Jackson Dart can throw the ball better. I don't think there's a question about that. I think that, and he knows Cam Scadaboo is going to be a dog like Derrick Henry. And he's going to have a great receiver in Malik Neighbors. Granted, he hasn't, I guess you can compare him to Zay Flowers. I think Malik Neighbors is a little bit better than Zay. But, and no disrespect there, love Zay Flowers, but you know what I mean. It makes a lot of sense. The whole thing makes a lot of sense there with Harbaugh going to the Ravens. It's great. It's good for the Giants. To the Giants. It's great for the Giants. And again, it's shocking to see the Giants make another positive move in, in the NFL. Yeah, basically, yeah, exactly, bro. He basically got the same team, just a lot younger and a lot cheaper. And that's the other thing, a lot younger and a lot cheaper. Malik Neighbors is the only one really they're spending money on right now. I know Sexy Dexy is probably making a good bag right now. I can't remember what he's making, but he's got money. They've got money to throw around in New York right now, and he's going to have this draft class. You don't need a quarterback in this draft class. It's a good class, in my opinion, for linemen, which they desperately need on the offensive side, and fill out a couple of other spots. But it's going to be a good draft class for them, and I think we're going to see some moves there, especially late in the draft. Probably trade out, maybe get something later, or get a player they really want in their secondary. Who knows what they're going to do in the draft? But the Giants are in a good place. The Harbaugh move is awesome for them. things are looking up for the G-Men. A Road Dog, agree with you too, brother. G-Men. Yeah, maybe your friend can. Yeah, the G-Men do have a great defense. A lot of potential. Potential's a killer, but it's a lot of potential on offense. So shout out to the Giants actually making good moves. It's just actually making good moves. All right, this is wild. This is absolutely wild, and it does make me rethink some of the bets that I saw placed at the sports book I worked at back in the day. 20 men have been charged in a point shaving scheme involving more than 39 college basketball players on more than 17 NCAA Division I teams, leading to more than 29 games being fixed, according to federal indictment. The scheme began around September 2022 and initially focused on fixing games in Chinese Basketball Association before targeting college games. Group offered bribes up to $10,000 to $30,000. I saw some other reports that there's 40, 50, 80 G's getting thrown around to some of these guys to throw games, especially in college. You've got to be a special type of degenerate to be betting on college basketball. On Chinese basketball. I'm just saying, like, that shit ain't on at a good time of day. That shit ain't on. I mean, I don't know, man. You gotta, I guess, really love ball. I don't know, man, but it's crazy. It's crazy that was happening, and the fact that it took this long. I mean, I guess they've been investigating it for a long time because you're placing a lot of money on a Chinese basketball game. That should be red flagged immediately. That should be red flagged immediately every single time. Every bet you buy. Ping pong, that's another thing. Okay. I can get behind ping pong and everything like that. But Chinese basketball, like, you got to be and I've only seen one man ever come in and place bets on Chinese basketball. And they weren't little bets that these guys were placing, but still they were K, 2K. And I'm like, really? You're betting this much on Chinese bet? Whatever, dude. I'll process the bet. But it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's going to continue to happen, unfortunately. And it was a lot of mid-major schools on the college level. So think of your Hartford A&Ms and Duquesne, teams like that, Southern Missouri, shit like that. But it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And Road Dog, why is it always basketball? Because basketball is the one sport. I would say baseball is pretty close too. But basketball is the one sport where really, one guy has a bad game, one guy misses a lot of shots. Like, that can really change the outcome. Foul out early. That can really change the outcome of the game and what's going on. You have a star player fouling out in the first half. That's going to completely change how it goes. And why do they get caught in basketball? It all has to do with betting. You know what I mean? The sports books know. And that's why, like, Noah and I, we love betting on mid-major college basketball, because that is where the sports books are weaker, because, they only have so many resources and so much money to spend on, the research they put behind a game and how confident they are on a line. And that's why, especially mid-major games, that's why they call them the overnight lines in college basketball. What's the overnight line tonight for the game? Because it's going to move in the morning by the time the sharps and everyone really take a look at it. And so it's easier to catch on college basketball. And again, we're talking about like Southern Texas A&M versus, I don't even fucking Towson. You know what I mean? And so they know that there's a certain type of player, which they've calculated and everything, that's going to bet on that type of a game. And there's a certain number that most players will wager on, you know what I mean, those two schools, those lower divisional one games. And it's just very blatant. They're betting $400,000 on mid-majors. Are you shitting me? Like, that's just wild behavior. You know what I mean? And then especially when it turns out exactly the way you predict. Like, come on. And they're not taking on straight up favorites. They're going to the underdogs and everything, the teams that suck, and just saying, hey, make sure y'all don't cover this spread. And then they just don't. But that's why I think it's always basketball. It's just easier. You know what I mean? And then again, especially because these guys aren't that smart. You know what I mean? Again, and it's not that they're not that smart. It's just that they got to go to the lower stuff. They can't be betting on, like in the NBA. You know what I mean? They got to bet on the props of the guys who don't get a lot of playing time, the guys who do get a lot of playing time, but are those role players. You know what I mean? And so It gets difficult for him. But yeah, that's why it's always basketball. Anyway, that's all I got today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube, X, TikTok. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit those follow buttons. Does help out a lot more than you know. Shout out to Road Dog in the chat, brother. Nice to have you back. Hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, hey, thank you all again for listening. Thank you all again for watching. I'll be live tomorrow breaking down my favorite bets for the day. And yeah, we'll enjoy the long weekend coming ahead of us. But have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck. God bless. I'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.